Hey guys, how's it going? Back here for day two. We're going to hit legs. It's about almost 9 p.m. We're getting here hella late. Longer day at work. Definitely wanted to get some sleep, so I took a little bit of a nap. But here we are, ready to attack. We're gonna do some legs today. We're gonna hit some cardio afterwards. Pre-workout of choice, we got the goated white monster. This will always be a 10 out of 10. Not sure what we have on the menu for legs, but once we get in there, we'll see how busy it is and we'll figure it out. Definitely want to do a decent amount of squatting today, though. So, enough yappage and let's go right to it. All right. So, we've already warmed up. We're going to hit some leg extensions. Then we're going to go into some RDLs. I want to knock off quad warm up, bunch of RDLs, some leg curls to warm up my hamstrings so that it preps us for our squat at the end. We're gonna do some narrow grip squat on the Smith machine just to really burn out the quads at the end. Really simple leg day today, nothing crazy. I just finished doing some calves, warming up my quads a little bit more. So now we're just gonna go right ahead and get started. Let's go. That was tough. Kind of like that weight. I think we'll go slow and controlled for leg extensions, then go a little bit heavier for our set of squats. It's gonna be a tough workout today though. 235 for 8. Alright, so what we're really trying to do with this cut coming up is making sure that we're not losing out on any strength. So to do that, we're gonna prioritize progressive overload. So that's why I track all my reps, all my sets, everything on this app here. And then with that, I'm able to pay attention to what I hit last time. So say 235 for 8, right? I know that I wanna be able to either increase the weight or increase the reps. My rep range is between 8 and 12, so I know that if I'm hitting 8 with 235, I wanna be able to continue hitting 235 until I can hit 12 reps clean for 2 to 3 sets. Then I raise the weight to like 250 or whatever else after that, right? So that I'm progressively getting stronger. On a cut, it's important to prioritize your strength so that for one, you're not losing any during your cut because you're gonna feel weaker as you're starting to diet down and eat less, but also so that you're not losing muscle mass. Strength is typically usually relative to your muscle mass. So we wanna make sure that we're keeping that in check. I like to have this seat back all the way here so that I can focus on getting a better stretch. Your quads is basically made up of 4 heads, right? Forget what the 2 teardrops are called, but I believe it's called the erectus femoris, something femoris, gets worked best in a stretched position. So either if you're doing something like sissy squats, where you're really stretching out that quad, or if you do leg extensions, you'll work on it basically whenever you're doing leg extensions, but when you can get a bigger stretch on it, it's more beneficial. Let's get crazy for this one. Let's go. That was tough. One more. Do a drop set. I've not warmed up my hamstrings yet, so we're gonna do that real quick. Nice little way I like to warm up. I go much lighter weight, and I progressively get closer to my working weight. I'll just do little intervals of 3 reps. Just to get myself used to that kind of like shock, right, from being completely cold into warming up whatever muscle group I'm working on. So that is the plan. Forget what we did last time. 155. Let's try to shatter some records. Let's just get a good track going on. And get to work. I'm not sure what you guys listen to in the gym, but I'm a big fan of Gym Funk, and they got like this, there's a bunch of different Freeze songs, right? Freeze 2.0, Freeze 10.0. Actually, that one's new. I haven't seen that one yet. I'm gonna cue that one up. But I think out of all the Gym Funks, like Freeze has to be probably one of the best ones, just because of the amount of variety. Like 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, like they keep coming out with banger after banger, and not a single one has disappointed. So put on Freeze 10.0 and see how well it helps out for this set. So far, not impressed. Not impressed. I might have spoke too soon. There you go. It's better. Shoot. Alright. This is actually feeling pretty good. It's definitely challenging. Then we're gonna do 2 more of this. It is quarter to 10, and I still have RDLs and squats to do, which is going to be completely exhausting. So I think I'm going to do 3 sets of RDLs, 3 sets of squats, and then call it, do some cardio. That's the thing about coming hella late. Typically the gym's a little bit less busy. Right now it's Ramadan, so we have more people coming later after eating their dinner. So the gyms have been a little bit busier than usual for 10 o'clock. But that's my own fault for taking a nap. I am horrible at picking angles. I just took a look at the footage from the last one and my face is basically cut off, and it might be cut off for this one too. It's okay though. You're good to walk in front of it, man, don't worry. Alright, let's go. Nope. Okay. All right. Okay. Controversial topic that honestly should not be that controversial. Straps on your back day and straps when you're doing RDLs. What are we doing? You want to work your forearms, or do you actually want to work your back, right? Your forearms are going to give out way before your back does, or way before your hamstrings do. They're just a much smaller muscle, and they're not able to carry as much load for a longer period of time. So I never understood people who, oh, it's fine, my forearms are gonna grow anyway. Like, you're gonna grow your forearms when you work forearms, or when you do biceps, right? Or anything else that has to do with gripping something, right? So I think you're leaving gains on the table if you're not using straps. RDLs is actually a movement that I didn't really like at all, and it still kind of isn't my favorite, but definitely makes a big difference when it comes to the growth of your hamstrings. If anything, I'd argue that is probably the most important exercise for your hamstrings over leg curls or anything else. Just because it works. This is gonna sound so dumb. The more important part of your hamstrings. We're gonna look up the scientific reason for that afterwards, though. Let's get this set going. That was a good set. That was a really good set. Let's go look up the reason why RDLs is better than curls. Okay, so we found it. Basically, The Romanian deadlift is widely considered a superior hamstring movement because it maximizes eccentric loading, maintains constant tension, and directly targets the muscle in the lengthened position, all of which are crucial for hypertrophy and strength, unlike conventional or deadlifts or hamstring curls, right? So I knew it felt right. I just didn't really know what the science was behind it or what the reasoning was behind it. But I feel like for the longest time, people would always focus on the squeeze, which is also very important when it comes to training any muscle group. But the stretch is always neglected, right? Now you hear about, RDLs or lat pullovers, lat pull downs, even tricep movements, right? Like overhead tricep extensions. They really stress nowadays, like, hey, like make sure you're getting the stretch because it's leaving gains on the table if you're not actually utilizing it. Anyways, that's enough yapping for now. Let's get into the next set. Ooh, that's a good one. Damn. All right. With RDLs, it can go one of two ways. If you hinge over or bend your knees more, you're gonna get more glutes. I don't want that. Neither do you. We want to hit our hamstrings. So keeping your legs as straight as possible with a slight bend in the knee, really focusing on hinging over, you're gonna feel a fantastic stretch in your quads. And that's where the money is. Otherwise, you're gonna be training for a fat ass, and that's not what I need. That's it. Let's hit some squats. Okay, so with these squats, we're gonna go narrow grip so that we really focus on our quads, and we're gonna get that full, like, ass to grass, like full stretch, full range of motion, all of that. So we're not going crazy heavy. I knock out about 3 sets of this. There's no hack squat that I like at this gym. Typically, I like to go through another one with like that sort of hack squat that's on that incline. That is my bread and butter for legs, but unfortunately that was not an option today because that gym is completely packed and I'd be there for freaking 3 hours. So this is the alternative today. But when in Rome, do what the Romans do. And what the Romans were doing was squats. Anyways, enough of that. Let's lock the heck in. Tim, come on. One more. One more. Wow. That was not easy. My legs feel good though. Well, they feel like shit, but like they'll feel good later on. And then they'll feel like shit again after. Let's do 2 more of those. One more. Okay. One more set. Then we're calling it cardio. Rice, chicken, salmon, whatever the fuck it is, we're gonna eat. All right, we upped the weight just a little bit because I think I'm holding back. So we're really gonna try to give it 100% with a little bit more weight and see where that takes us. I want to get something diabolical playing though. There you go. Come on. One more. Nope. Did not have that one in me. That's what's nice about the Smith machine is you can really push it to failure and you know you can bail out and not die after. So that's it. Let's move on to some cardio. All right, so legs completed. That last set of squats. That's why it's important to kind of up the weight, because I wouldn't have known that. I would have been like, that was a clean 7 reps, almost 8. There was no ego lifting in play there, but my mind was capping me at like the 185 instead of the 225. Up the 225, and I was fine. I think maybe it has something to do with endurance, where like I'm not able to squat for a ton of reps just because it's so exhausting. But upping the weight felt good. So goes to show you that sometimes putting more weight isn't a bad thing and doesn't necessarily mean that you're ego lifting. It's just a good gauge to be able to figure out where you actually are in terms of progression for your strength. So I'd say it was a pretty good leg day overall. The squatting was good at the end. RDLs were fine too. I think we got it done in about an hour and a half. So for a leg day, that's not too bad. Still trying to figure out the right angles when it comes to filming. There's a couple awkward angles in there, but we're working on it. But yeah, that's it for day 2. When it comes to terms of my cut, what am I doing? So essentially, I figured out what my maintenance is. Honestly, I kind of forget it because I've been dieting for so long. But I'm pretty sure I was at like, for maintenance, around 3,000 calories. Now, I'm going in excess of that. I'm going about 2,000 calories plus cardio and working out, which brings my room to eat a little bit more. This gives me the room to be able to eat slightly more freely. So like if I want to have extra piece of chicken, right, I don't necessarily track it because I know that I have such a great deficit that it doesn't really necessarily matter. But as you start to get leaner and leaner, those calories start to matter, and it's important to track every single calorie if you want to see results. I feel like tracking goes hand in hand with consistent results, because if you don't know what you're putting in your body, how are you supposed to know how much you're supposed to eat, work out, right? You're kind of lost. You're just guessing at that point, and that doesn't necessarily work out too well for everybody. So if you want to do it the right way, track your calories, track your progress in the gym. So right now what I'm eating, I'm basically just keeping my diet very, very simple. I'll meal prep everything on Sunday, eat about 300 grams a day of rice, around 200 grams of chicken breast, sometimes 300, and 100 grams of salmon. Plus I make these protein pancakes made out of like eggs, banana, oats, and protein powder. Staple meal. Literally the highlight of my day is eating those pancakes because it tastes even better than regular pancakes, and I'm not even joking. Like they're good. So that's what I've been eating for the last little bit. I've been able to put off about 5 to 10 pounds since January 1st. And it's tough I'm saying 5 to 10 because January 1st is right next to Christmas, celebrations, going out New Year's, drinking. So at the start of the year I was 210, 215, but it was a lot of like just excess food in my system. So that was pretty easy to get out once I started dieting down and locking in my diet as well as cardio. But right now we're at about a 10-pound drop since January 1st, and it's consistently dropping down the scale. So this morning I woke up at 203. Obviously depending on the amount of water, time of eating during the day, that's going to fluctuate. But if the number is going down on a weekly basis by about 0.5 pounds at the end of the week, then you know that you're making a difference. Anyways, that's kind of it for today. Yeah, I don't really have much left, so we're gonna finish up this cardio. Today's day 55 of cardio every single day till I'm lean. Yeah, thanks for listening. See you guys later.